Hello travellers. Welcome back. Right, today we are going somewhere that I think is one of the most underrated travel destinations in the whole of Europe, Hungary. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, isn't Hungary just Budapest? And the answer is absolutely not. Hungary is full of surprises and we're going to get into all of them today. This is a country with a history so dramatic and complicated, it reads like a novel. Empires rose and fell here, armies marched through, kings and queens held court, and out of all of it came a culture, a cuisine, and a way of life that is completely and distinctively Hungarian. There is nowhere else in the world quite like it. So let's jump in. The top 10 places you have to visit in Hungary. 10. Eger. We're starting in Eger, a city in northern Hungary that doesn't always make it onto the tourist trail, and that is a genuine shame. Eger is one of the most beautiful Baroque cities in Central Europe. Its elegant architecture, hilltop castle, and thermal baths making it a joy to wander around. The castle is where one of Hungary's most celebrated chapters of history played out. In 1552, a small Hungarian garrison held off an Ottoman army many times its size. The story of the siege of Eger is the stuff of national legend, and visiting the castle you really do get a sense of that defiant spirit. Eger also sits at the heart of a famous wine region. The Eger wine district produces Egri Bika Ver, or bull's blood, one of Hungary's most celebrated reds. There are wine cellars cut into the soft volcanic rock of the Valley of the Beautiful Women just outside the city, where you can taste and buy local wines in a setting that feels wonderfully old world. 9. Pécs. Next up is Pécs, a city in southern Hungary near the Croatian border that has one of the most layered and fascinating histories of any city in the country. Pécs has been continuously inhabited for over 2,000 years. It was a major Roman city, then a prosperous medieval bishopric, then the centre of Ottoman Hungary for 150 years, and all of those chapters have left their mark. The Ottoman-era mosque of Pasha Qasim, now a Catholic church but with its original minaret still standing, is one of the most striking buildings in Hungary. The early Christian necropolis beneath the city centre is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with beautifully decorated underground burial chambers dating from the 4th century. The city has a strong arts and university culture too. The Zolnay porcelain factory, based here since 1853, produces some of the most distinctive and beautiful ceramics in Europe, and their colourful tiles decorate buildings all over the city. Pécs is vibrant, walkable, and full of character. 8. Holoko. At number 8, we have something a little different. Holoko, a tiny village in the hills of northern Hungary that feels like it belongs to another century, and in a sense it does. Holoko is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserved as one of the finest examples of traditional Hungarian village architecture in existence. The whitewashed stone and timber houses, the village church, the hilltop castle ruins, and the traditional costumes still worn by older residents during festivals. All of it gives Holoko an atmosphere that's quite unlike anywhere else in Hungary. It's the kind of place where time seems to have been put on pause. The village is particularly magical during Easter, when the traditional Palak Folk Festival fills the streets with music, dancing, embroidery, and centuries-old customs. If your visit coincides with it, you're in for something genuinely special. 7. The Tokaj Wine Region. Coming in at number 7 is the Tokaj Wine Region, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in northeastern Hungary and one of the most historic wine regions in the world. Tokaj is famous above all for Tokaji Asu, a sweet wine made from grapes affected by noble rot, which was once called the wine of kings and the king of wines. Louis XIV of France is said to have been a devoted admirer. The landscape here is quietly beautiful. Gentle volcanic hills covered in vineyards, small towns with wine cellars dug deep into the rock, and the convergence of two rivers creating the unique microclimate that makes the famous grapes possible. The town of Tokaj itself is small and charming, with its wine museum, historic cellars, and riverside setting. But the real experience is getting out into the vineyards, tasting at the smaller family estates, and understanding why this wine has been celebrated across Europe for centuries. 6. Lake Balaton. At number 6, Lake Balaton, which Hungarians rather wonderfully refer to as the Hungarian Sea. It's not a sea, of course, but at 77 kilometers long, it is the largest lake in Central Europe, and it has been the beloved summer playground of Hungarians for generations. The northern shore is the more scenic side, volcanic hills, historic abbey towns like Tihany, where the peninsula jutting into the lake is absolutely beautiful, and charming wine villages where you can taste the crisp local whites. The southern shore is flatter and more developed, with the long sandy beaches and buzzing resort towns that make it so popular with families. In summer, the lake has an almost Mediterranean atmosphere. Outdoor restaurants, boat trips, kayaking and paddleboarding, and long warm evenings that seem to go on forever. It might not be the Med, but on a warm August afternoon with a glass of local wine in hand, it honestly doesn't matter. 5. Sopron. At number 5 we have Sopron, a small city in western Hungary, right on the Austrian border, and one of the most beautifully preserved medieval towns in Central Europe. Sopron's historic inner city, built on the remains of a Roman settlement, has survived remarkably intact, with its medieval walls, towers, and historic buildings creating an atmosphere that feels genuinely ancient. The Firewatch Tower at the heart of the old town is the symbol of the city and offers wonderful views over the rooftops and out towards the surrounding hills. The narrow streets below are lined with Gothic and Baroque buildings, small museums and excellent restaurants. Sopron also sits in the middle of the Fertohansag National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site shared with Austria. And the surrounding countryside, including Lake Ferto and its wetlands, is a wonderful natural escape. 4. The Puszta. Number 4 is something completely different from everything else on this list. The Puszta, Hungary's Great Plain, covering roughly half of the country. The Puszta is a vast, flat, seemingly endless grassland that stretches to the horizon in every direction. It might not sound immediately exciting, but it has a raw, elemental beauty that gets under your skin. The Puszta is the heartland of traditional Hungarian culture. This is where the Magyar horsemen rode, where Chicos cowboys still demonstrate extraordinary horsemanship skills, and where the long-horned grey cattle and curly-haired Raka sheep that are unique to Hungary still graze the plains. The Hortobágy National Park, Hungary's largest and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is the best place to experience it. Take a horse-drawn carriage ride, visit the iconic Nine-Arch Bridge, the longest stone bridge in Hungary, and watch the sunset over the plains from somewhere completely flat and completely vast. It's a deeply Hungarian experience. 3. The Danube Bend. At number 3, the Danube Bend, and if you've never heard of it, you're in for a wonderful surprise. Just 40 kilometers north of Budapest, the Danube River makes a dramatic, sweeping turn through a landscape of forested hills and historic towns that is one of the most scenic stretches of river in all of Europe. Visegrad has a spectacular medieval hilltop castle above the bend, offering views that are honestly stunning. The river curving through the hills below, forests in every direction. Esztergom, Hungary's first capital city, sits at the top of the bend, dominated by its enormous Baroque basilica perched on a hill above the river. It's the largest church in Hungary, and the view from its dome is extraordinary. The charming artist town of Szentendre sits at the southern end of the bend. Its colourful Serbian Orthodox churches, galleries and cobbled streets make it one of the most pleasant day trips from Budapest imaginable. The Danube Bend is the kind of place that rewards slow travel and a willingness to simply explore. 2. Lake Heves. Coming in at number 2, and this one is a little surprising, Lake Heves. Located in western Hungary near the southern shore of Lake Balaton, Heves is home to the largest natural thermal lake in the world that you can actually swim in. And yes, you can swim in it year-round, even in January, because the water temperature never drops below 23 degrees Celsius, and in summer it reaches close to 38 degrees. The lake has a slightly surreal beauty. It's covered in lotus flowers, the water has a faintly milky, mineral-rich quality, and you float in it surrounded by a Victorian-era spa pavilion. People have been coming here to take the waters for well over 2 centuries, and the health benefits of the sulphurous, mineral-rich water are well documented. Heves is a genuinely relaxing and unusual experience. Nothing prepares you for floating in a thermal lake in the middle of winter, with steam rising around you and lotus blossoms on all sides. It's magical. 1. Budapest, and of course, at number 1, Budapest. I know, we said Hungary isn't just Budapest, and it isn't, but Budapest itself deserves every bit of its reputation as one of the most beautiful and exciting cities in Europe, and we couldn't leave it off the top spot. The city is split by the Danube, Buda on the hilly western bank, Pest flat and sprawling on the eastern side, and the view along the river, particularly at night, when the Parliament building and the chain bridge are lit up, is genuinely one of the great urban views in the world. The Hungarian Parliament is the 3rd largest parliament building on the planet, and its Gothic revival architecture glowing gold against the night sky is breathtaking. The thermal bath culture is something you have to experience. Budapest sits on a network of natural hot springs, and the city's bathhouses, from the Grand Széchenyi and Gellert baths to the more local Rudas, are social institutions as much as wellness facilities. The ruin bar scene, bars built inside the crumbling courtyards of abandoned Jewish quarter buildings, is one of the most creative and vibrant nightlife scenes in Europe. And the food, goulash, langos, chimney cakes, fresh langoustines from the Great Market Hall, is wonderful. Budapest is a city that keeps revealing new layers the longer you spend in it. Give it time, it will absolutely reward you. And there you have it, the top 10 places to visit in Hungary. Honestly, this country deserves so much more attention than it gets, and I hope this has convinced at least a few of you to book those flights. Which spot grabbed you the most? Let us know below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you very soon. Cheers!